Good morning and welcome to Cheche, the show where opinion counts, live on Citizen TV. I'm your host, Udwaka Mimo. Now, the governing coalition, Jubilee, is putting its house in order ahead of next year's election. It's doing that by merging. So far, the merger brings together TNA, the party of President Uhuru Kenyatta and the coalition's main partner, and URP, the party of Deputy President William Ruto. But it's a coming together that's been beset by problems. Deadlines last year came and went. Some members of the affiliate parties in the Jubilee coalition rejected the new formation, the Jubilee Alliance Party, or JAP. So today's guests will speak to how the merger is coming along. From TNA, we have Secretary General Onyango Olo. From URP, we have Secretary General Fred Muteti. And from JAP, the party that should have been the new formation, we have Secretary General Veronica Ndwati. And as always, we have the regular panel of Mutegi Njau and David Makali. Good morning and welcome. Give us a progress report, Ms. Ndwati, and I'll start with you. Where are we now? Are we talking JAP or are we talking Jubilee Party of Kenya?
What we are talking about now is the merger of all the Jubilee coalition parties, and as you will notice, TNA, URP are the main coalition partners together with Jubilee Alliance Party. We have UDF, we have APK, we have Republican Party, that is RC from Mombasa, we have GNU, and we have Ford People and New Ford Kenya. Those are the parties that are currently coalescing to merge. So what we are talking about is Jubilee Party, because we are looking at the umbrella mass party that is going to unify Kenyans. Now, Jubilee Alliance Party, for the time being, has been the front that Jubilee has been using, and you will notice that we have candidates even now vying for MCA positions in Laikipia in a ward called Gobit, and MCA in a ward in Nande. So the business of Jubilee continues to perform its functions, its political functions, but what we have on our table right now is the merger process, which is about to come to an end.
If we say that the merger process is about to come to an end, Mr. Olo, when can we then expect to see your party, TNA, and I'll come to you, Mr. Messi, too, yes, fold?
Thank you so much. You know, originally, as you may have heard through the media, we had given earlier timelines. December, then we moved towards March. These dates were not materialized for reasons that were not of our own making. I had been appointed.
Rebellion?
Not at all. I had been appointed the chairman of the Legal Affairs Committee, and in the course of combing the statutes and the law, we discovered that there were some hurdles of legal nature that we had to overcome. As we're talking presently, the most prominent one was the position of the president and the deputy president, the governors and the deputy governors. Those positions seem to have not been covered by the Political Parties Act. What happens to those offices were you to merge? Instead, the position of the MP, the senators, the MCAs had been taken care of, that in the event of merger, they would choose to work with their parties into the new merged outfit or choose to be independent on their own. That lacuna or that emptiness in the position of the law left the presidency and the governorships that the Jubilee parties controlled at a risk. For that matter, we had to initiate a process that would allow an amendment to our laws to cover those positions. Presently, we have had the National Assembly pass through the legislations that would cover the two major positions, the governor and the deputy, the president and the deputy, and the matter is in the Senate presently. As you know, these matters affect the Senate, so the National Assembly alone would not be effective to conclude it. It is therefore difficult to give you a precise time because as political parties we are not able to control the parliamentary calendar. The soonest they complete that process, I can give you my word, barring the TNA winding up process, we would be raring to go any moment.
Mr. Muteti?
Yes.
From URP, your perspective, is that your position, that you're waiting for this legislation to,
yes.
to pass?
Yes, as you earlier said that the Jubilee coalition is putting its house in order. That is the truth. And why we are here is to confirm to Kenyans that we have put our house in order. We have had meetings over the national executive committees. We had meetings with the caucus groups, and all parties have agreed to merge. In fact, we have minutes ready, which have been waiting to be deposited with the political parties register. Immediately, the law is passed. So, as my friend on law has said, that we are just waiting for Parliament to finalize on the matter, and once we finish that, it will give us maybe 2 months. We'll be able to wind up and form one party. Maybe some correction is that we are not all winding up to join JAP. We are all winding up, URP, TNA, JAP, but we are all winding up to form one party called the Jubilee Party. Called the Jubilee Party.
Okay.
Yes.
The Jubilee Party of Kenya. I believe Ms. Ndwati pointed that out in her first remarks.
Yes.
But what is the difference then between the Jubilee Alliance Party, JAP, and this new Jubilee Party of Kenya? Why the need for the Jubilee Party of Kenya?
Why the need
Last year it was JAP.
Yes, why the need for the Jubilee Party of Kenya is that we agreed that all parties, New Ford Kenya, URP, TNA, JAP, because they're existing parties, we are all going to form one vehicle. We don't want that confusion. I was in URP, I was in TNA. We want everyone. We want to unite all Kenyans. And our clarion call is that we want to form a vehicle that is going to unite Kenya and develop itself into an institution of democracy.
I understand the purpose of this new Jubilee formation. What I don't understand is last year it was JAP, and this year it's Jubilee Party of Kenya.
Can I just clarify that? Initially, you will notice that Jubilee Alliance Party, that is JAP, is a constituent party, just like TNA and just like URP. There was need for inclusiveness into that vehicle and for everybody to feel they are part of that process.
This was in response to the various rebellions you're facing in your own parties.
No, not quite rebellion, because even when Jubilee Alliance Party came into force, TNA gives support in Kajiado, URP gives support in Kajiado. That was the first seat Jubilee Alliance Party presented a candidate to contest in a by-election. There was a lot of support from the constituent parties of the Jubilee coalition, but there was a feeling, because we were bringing in way more partners than was envisaged before, that they needed to be part of that process. They needed to develop a framework that would be acceptable to everyone across the board. So Jubilee Party now the merger process gives us an opportunity to have an inclusive process where everybody works together along the way and is able to harmonize all the Kenyans under one umbrella, that is a mass party called Jubilee Party. David, you wanted to come in?
Well, from what Olo has explained, the legal hurdles, it would seem that the uncertainty can be very prolonged. So, which means in the event the Senate does not approve the law, the party could be a stillborn.
Let me get to that, and I'll tie it to what my two colleagues have said. The original intention was actually to merge into the Jubilee Alliance Party. That is why JAP. That's why you saw all of us saying we are merging into JAP. But in the course of combing the law, we did realize there's a slight technicality that you could not merge into an existing party. But when you merge, you collapse and form a new outfit.
But wasn't JAP new?
No, you all collapse and form a new outfit. You all dissolve. JAP itself was formerly the Conservative Party. The name had been changed in the understanding that we would collapse into it, and then that legal technicality came up. Now, the issue of the Senate you realize that one, this is a political process. We have been able to pass through the National Assembly. We hope to persuade the Senate, because you also understand this is a matter of national concern. It is not just for Jubilee. Tomorrow CORD would want to merge, any other party would want to merge. They could be in government. So we are not doing it for our sake. We are saying, why did we omit the presidency and the governorship and let these positions, the other positions, be covered? Beside that, the law did not proscribe a merger because the governor and the presidency and their deputies were not covered. It was silent. And we want to leave nothing behind so that it would be said they took advantage, or someone goes to court and say, you see, the president must step aside. So in all fairness, we are a political outfit that has got good numbers in the Senate, and we trust that the bill before the Senate is a bill of national concern. We see no reason why it should not go through.
And in any event,
Dr. Noah Kesa in the press the other day gave a deadline. He said you are going to merge by this time. How did he get to know that?
He may have estimated that it would take a given period of time to pass through the Senate. But as I can assure you, none of us here controls the Senate's calendar. So just take our word as the Secretary Generals of those two parties. But we'll have to abide with the outcome of the Senate.
Also, isn't it true, though? I mean,
so let Ms. Ndwati respond.
And also, let me also clarify this. If, for instance, that bill is not passed in the Senate, you know, the bill has to make its way back to the National Assembly.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, the amendments that we have sought for under the Political Parties Act are going to pass through. So I think it's just a matter of timing, but that bill is going to pass through. I believe both parts of the political divide are in support of the amendments, because these are not amendments which you could say are contributed to serve a certain selfish ambition for many political parties, because they are progressive in the sense that we are trying to unify Kenya. We are trying to assist the political parties that should you feel like you want to fold up your small political party together with another big political party, you have an opportunity as an institution, a political party institution, to do that under the current amendment.
Okay.
You know, I mean, the whole thing is, my view is that this is all superficial. I mean, unifying Kenya does not come by folding up parties. It comes by people deciding to work together. And they don't have to work together because they're in a party. And so the question then would be, immediately you fold these parties and form Jubilee Alliance or Jubilee Party, there'll be other parties which will sprout in their place, or which will continue to exist outside the new party. What then becomes of those who will want to join? That's why, I mean, the futility of having to fall in order to be in one, you could be served by people just migrating from the parties to join that party, if indeed that is the unity they seek.
Let me address you, Mr. Makalia. Over the years, we have had criticisms of political parties being formed on the tribal lines. Our parties have been accused of lacking ideologies. Our parties have been accused of being briefcase parties. The TNA and URP leadership in the first instance realized that there was need to form parties that would cut across issues of tribe, and more importantly, bring other parties from other areas so that we have that unifying party. But more importantly, it was not just a party because that we have to unify Kenyans alone. We not only have to unify Kenyans, but we want to unify Kenyans against specific ideologies that would transcend the earlier political dispensations that are basically tribal based. For that matter, if you look at the documents we're working at presently, we are not only coming with the traditional party constitutions, party programs, we are subjecting them to acceptable political philosophy that we intend to govern us to the next stage, so that parties coalesce around certain issues and values that will take them longer than election period.
These are lofty ideas.
Very lofty ideas. In fact, it is, you know, parties can merge, but it's really the individuals behind those parties that count. So you could have the shells all together in one port called JP, but the same people who are there, what will stop them from migrating the next time to go to another party? In fact, to run just the way they did.
I think
we do bar them from moving, migrating.
If I can respond to David McCarthy, if you look at history, in 2002, Kenya had a chance to unite majority of Kenyans around NAC, and they formed a very formidable vehicle that pushed the agenda of democracy to the next level. Then that time with the opposition led by Kanu. The biggest mistake we did as Kenyans was to abandon the vehicle called NAC, because NAC had brought almost all communities together. And of course, we know the masters of splitting political alliances. They began in 2005, and we know them. They broke down the alliance of NAC, and they brought in, of course, the LDP and other factions. Now, that destabilized the government of NAC, because the platform in which the government of NAC was formed on a platform of bringing all communities together. Today, David McCarthy, we are creating history. We are going to unite Kenyans by coalescing and putting all
let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you, because you've given us this historical perspective, but the same thing is being repeated now as in your backyard. You've had a rebellion within the Rift Valley. You have people who have left.
No. Nobody has left. Who has left? If one person leaves, URP has 11 governors. If one single governor leaves, you can't say people who have left.
That's what happened to NAC.
And again,
what happened in NAC in 2005, the masters of breaking alliances and coalition, they came in, and you guys know them. That's why we are here.
Don't hurl blames to people.
I'm not blaming anyone.
Because what is going to happen, and which we should expect to happen, is once you form JP, you do the nominations. Some people will not be nominated, whether you say one or not. They will just split, and they were originally in the JP, but once they are not nominated, they take a walk. And the same thing we are saying about 2005 will occur.
Can I answer that?
Yes.
I think it's the right of every Kenyan to make a political choice and make a choice that gives them a certain political affiliation and an opinion. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And our constitution has given us a basis for individuals to wake up and say, I am not happy with CORD, for instance, and I am jumping ship to Jubilee. Now, when an individual, for instance, decides that they want to change their political affiliation, you cannot blame them for making a decision which is constitutional.
That is what he is doing when he says
masters. Kenyans, I think a lot of times, Kenyans, we have been pessimistic. And we need to start being optimistic. And leadership means...
Give us a reason why we should be that.
You have to take a certain position and help people within that leadership call to see the right thing to do and keep doing that right thing.
You see, let me just say
what
this.
We are doing,
very good. And
let me finish.
Very perfect.
Can I finish?
Okay, let her finish so that you can respond comprehensively.
Let me finish.
Okay.
So the initiative we have sold today is a seed capital for unity in Kenya. We are saying maybe the drama began first with nominations which people could not trust. For instance, we have opened a new page in nominations. In all the nominations that have been conducted by Jubilee since we started the by-election in Kajiado, we have done free and fair nominations. We have ensured that no candidate walks away feeling as though they were shortchanged. And that is one of the strongest tenets of the new Jubilee party. And moving forward, I think we put Kenya in a very difficult situation. The day bigger tribes in Kenya began forming political parties and making everybody else feel left out within that big outfit. Because, for instance, when Jubilee hands over a nomination certificate to certain candidates within certain zones, do you know that means it's an outright ticket to parliament? When CORD does the same, or there is no party called CORD, when ODM or Wiper does the same to certain candidates, it means it's a straight ticket to parliament. Meaning what? Democracy has to start within political parties, and that is what we are doing. We have democratized the processes. What we are working out is something that is opening a new page in Kenya. And I think we need to be more optimistic now and say, if it is the right thing to do, keep doing it until everybody catches up.
Why would you be optimistic? Look at what happened in Gatundu. when they nominated the
Courier.
That was before the new move.
But
No.
the same characters,
No.
the same style.
Let me answer you about Gatundu. I wish you had the audacity to call me when it happened. In as much as any political party, including the new outfit, is committed and would be committed to do free, fair and transparent nominations, I always warn the candidates as the Secretary General. IEBC gets about 40 billion to conduct its nominations. Along the way, some tricksters play those games. We don't have 100 of that much. So the party would put its best foot forward, would put structures in place, but those shenanigans, those games about the politicians are still likely to be there. The safety to proper political nomination lies both in the political party, the will to conduct nominations properly, fairly and transparently, but also on the candidates being on the lookout to ensure that fellow candidates, every candidate by the way, however fair you try to do it, even with the IEBC elections, every candidate hopes that they would outsmart their opponents, and that's also where the problem lies. So it is easy sometimes to blame political parties, and as my colleague Veronica has said, it is the commitment of the Jubilee party to put in place structures that would enhance and progress the process of free, fair and transparent nomination.
Structures will be there. But let me tell you this, even during that one time when Kenya used to be only Kan,
Yes.
if James Gishuru had a picture of himself taken together with Jomo Kenyatta, nobody would not let James Gishuru. Today, if Raila Odinga, no, Jaramogi, he would walk around the Janzal and say, go to so-and-so's place, greet him. That person will be elected.
Correct.
The same thing will apply here. Those structures we are talking about are just
structures.
What will happen is that somebody like William Ruto or Uhuru Kenyatta will walk around with somebody and say, and I've seen them being taken pictures in posters and posted in the street.
Yes.
Have you not seen them being taken pictures?
Let's allow
what will happen? Is that what we call structures? Those are not structures.
You want me to answer you?
Just a minute, let Muteti come in.
If I answer what David McCarthy asked before, will forming a Jubilee party unite Kenyans? The answer is, of course, yes, it will unite Kenyans in this manner. Sometimes, some few months ago, you saw a rally in Kakamega. It was very heartbeat when you saw supporters of Wetangula and ODM clashing, and you would see them tearing T-shirts of ODM. We're also avoiding that. We don't want a situation whereby that the supporters of European supporters of TNA are clashing, yet they are all in the same government. So one way of uniting Kenyans is to ensure that we have one joint manifesto that the Jubilee coalition government will implement, and that manifesto will be, of course, through one party. So by having a joint manifesto, it will also assist us in jumping out these issues of he's been nominated by TNA, he's from this area.
The thing that the architects of the party ought to consider is, why do people split? Why are parties created?
It's about nomination.
Okay, and so let's come back to that point because we have to take a break now. I know you want to challenge, let's challenge more robustly this issue of manifestos and structures and nominations. This is Cheche. We're live on Citizen TV. Do you think the Jubilee merger will be successful? Tell us what you think. Our SMS number is 22422, or you can tweet us using the hashtag Cheche.